It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. She off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come.
Thank you. Hello there.
Ayegun la wa mo do. Ayegun diary, number one.
Good morning to you.
Ayegun la wa mo do. Ayegun diary, number one.
Good afternoon to you.
Ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Ayegun diary, number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí. Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Ayegun diary politico. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun diary.
Yeah, share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them that Mayegun today.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ dódódódó. Mayegun diary, number one.
Yeah. Tell them.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì.
They will question, they will engage all those who want to lead this country, and those who do not have the interests of the North, they will not support. Just in 20 seconds, Did you hear? Is your party and your candidate going to be listening to the Northern Elders Forum?
Akim Baba Ahmed and the Northern Governors Elders Forum, perfect gentlemen, extremely patriotic persons. We love them, and I have enormous respect for Akim Baba Ahmed. He's somebody I want to be like, However, I just want to say, make a statement of fact that they don't represent the North. They don't speak for the North.
All right.
Despite all, when they campaigned against Buhari in 2019, Buhari won resoundingly the North. Atiku lost. Atiku lost. He did not even get 10% of votes in certain parts of the North. It's just to show that they are very wise elders, but they don't control the streets. Right. We are talking about those who control the streets.
We need to leave it at that. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Festus Keyamo, for your time tonight on the program. The official spokesperson of the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Minister of State for Labour. Thank you so much, Mr. Keyamo. Before we close, finally, Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, just in about 50 seconds, if you may react to some of the things that Festus Keyamo said.
I'm afraid I didn't hear much of that.
He said
Can I ask you what his last response was when
he said that the Northern Elders Forum does not represent the North. You opposed Buhari the last time, but Buhari won.
Yes, so if he thinks that we don't represent the North, and it means that Tinubu believes that he can win the North without the support of the groups, not just Northern Elders Forum. We are also combining with other friends. Fine, he's welcome. If this is the kind of attitude the APC would have in relation to the North, and they want to use our attitude, well-justifiable attitude towards Buhari as a failure, this is the kind of thing they want to sell to the North. I'm sorry for their campaign. They are going nowhere. And this is the kind of attitude that will lose them that election. It's the very wrong approach to adopt. If they want to adopt it, fine.
Thank you.
ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran ayé kò tí ì dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ayé kò tí ì dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Thank you. Good evening to you, good morning to you, good afternoon to you from wherever you are watching from. Once again, you are welcome to the Temple of Truth tonight. If you have read the caption of the broadcast or the description, as I have put them out in my own short way of, attempting the topics, one after the other, so to say, you probably must have as well, right? Bring yourself into what the conversation is going to be like tonight. But we're going to start with the header. In the next it's actually 2 days. Well, let's say 3 days. The RUPCOs or the ROPUs, or let me say the ripples that the APC, satanic Muslim, ticket is brewing as somehow led Tifnumbu, as we have been told, to London. So put it this way, in 2 days' time, they were supposed to start officially their 2023 electoral charade. Some of it, which you can say, are going to be laced with violence, which is the right word, violence, and then laced with other one, which is other violence of the snip bit and all that comes out of their cocoons in their small places where they plan. So we're going to pick on them. But something you need to pay attention to, quite importantly, is that we know for the past 7 years, one of the things that contributed, if we must admit to the total destruction of Nigeria that you are witnessing today, one of the most kind of significant things that happened was because Bokwari became a vegetable, sick, unhealthy, unwell. And for the powers that be, the owners of Nigeria who tend to benefit from that lapse, Bokwari can rule, even if he can no longer think or act straight anymore. So they kept that, and those who suffered that are many, many of you today who were once Sai barbarians, and today you have switched to Batidiots. The consequences of that is not limited to the rest of you, the Sai barbarians, including those who never even wished or prayed or participated in the emergence of a sick man like Bokwari. Now, something is brewing again, and in this case, it is on the part of Tifnumbu. Now, in the last 3 years, Tifnumbu has been a regular visitor to different health practitioners all over the world. Normally, good leadership will start from being honest and sincere. For 7 years, in fact, just narrow it down, between 2016 and 2018, the entire populace was regaled with different lies of what was wrong with Bokwari. Some agreed that he was poisoned through the air condition unit in his office, that they poisoned him in order for him, for whoever poisoned him to take over. And then they turned them into prayer warriors while Bokwari was going under the knives in the UK. Now, in the last 3 years, on record, Tifnumbu has visited Maryland for knee surgery. He's visited this UK for more than 6 times, right? In one of them, he spent over 4 months here. They called it recovery. Now, you might actually love Tifnumbu as many of you are. I'm talking about the Lagos Sabobaku watching me right now. But if you think that those who experienced the damages, the destruction, the looting, and the killings that are happening, that happened and that are also happening under Bokwari due to ill health, I mean, if you think those who experienced that are always going to look away watching Tifnumbu with 4 or 5 men holding him to stability and all that. Now, here is the point. 2 days before your regular, hire and pay charade, is back in the UK. Now, he's going to be in the UK for the next 1 week. Remember, their Muslim ticket has already pitted the likes of fake Pastor Ruga, who was reported to have stayed away when his name was nominated as one of those to come and tell the people that it doesn't really matter. Religion is not going to be a thing, and on like that. And others said, no, they were outrightly excluded because they have stated their opposition to this ticket as well. This is inside APC. So, sorting that or not, they bundled Tifnumbu to the UK, just probably to get him that same jag that they gave to Bokwari, that will last him for a few months, and then he will be back here again. Then it will last him for a few months, and he will be back here again, and all that. But listen, I know so many of you would like to go kind of the usual way, religious or emotional as it is. But there are 2 things that normally should jolt you, okay? 23 years after democracy. For example, in Lagos, 23 years of uninterrupted Tifnumbu's master plan and rule, right? Lagos would never provide a medical facility that can take care of a common commissioner in Lagos. That is one. Somebody said something a while back. He said, you would one day, right, come to the reality of how much it costs Nigeria, or how much Nigeria coughed out to the UK economy in order to revive and keep everybody part of Bukwari together to be moving about enough, at least to appear as your president. It doesn't matter if he's probably talking rubbish or doing nonsense, right? Now, for 7 years, this is another one, talking about morality. For 7 years, the same Bukwari, not for once, so not till now, ever thought of whatever I have managed to benefit from the UK healthcare system, paid for by Nigerians, so to say, that somehow, you deserve the same thing in Nigeria. I mean, they have budget for healthcare, don't they? They do. But many of you probably don't even know, or you don't care, because they don't exist. And you know that. Abi? 7 years that Bukwari has been shuttling, spending billions of your money. Why the rest of you are dying of needless, sort of non-lethal sicknesses because of the poverty that they have dipped you into? This is just like a moral question now. Because before you go emotional or go religious, and then they said they are coming here to vacation. Now, this is what they put out. There is trouble in the paradise between PDP and APC. And as it is the, call it, political survivors of everyone. Werewike came here on Friday or Thursday. He came to the UK after he got the hint that Atiku has dropped his name and completely ignored him in his campaign, council. Tifnubu declared his own campaign council. They are dealing with that. People are saying they are like going to joke. Sabotage that. So Wike left Nigeria for London, possibly on the request of Tifnubu as well. Remember that he said Tifnubu made him an offer the last time he was here, right? So, in order for them to just use one stone to kill two birds, Tifnubu will be in the UK for medical treatment of something nobody knows. Some said it could be for his Parkinson. Some said it could be for his, wetting his diaper and all that stuff. Some said it could be for his, shaking and all the stuff. Whatever it is, number one, dishonest people who cannot build an healthcare system that could take care of at least all of you who loved them. That's the moral part of it all. Those of you who loved them, okay? And so many of you who loved them, who don't like people like me, right? Who has done nothing to you, ever. Now, for 23 years of democracy in Nigeria, Tifnumbu and the rest of those you worship, they still have to come down to the UK with your money stolen. Call it that. Because there are ways they call it authority stealing. The one that gives Tifnumbu the same benefits that the current sitting governors of Lagos State also gets for life. So that's your money. It doesn't have a job. It never worked. You know that. So bring your money down here to come and enjoy something that people like me work hard to fund. Do you get that? Same as you who work hard, and rather for them to use their resources to build infrastructures that actually cater for you. Something as simple as healthcare. 23 years, they are the poster picture of that failure. So he's back here. So back in Nigeria, in order to cover that, that lapse, Keyamo and the rest of them came out to the rest of Nigerians. They said that their own campaign is going to start in October, because Tifnubu will be here receiving those injections, receiving those and other stuff, right? So instead of them to launch their campaign, they would rather meet and do prayer meeting. So prayer meetings, which will include all of their, normally their bishop and all that, who will come around and pray for Tifnumbu's health, for Tifnumbu's recovery, for APC, Egbekegbe's victory, in order to further extend this, this mess. Now, let me tell you something. For those of you who probably feel a little bit emotionally weak, okay? If you are emotionally weak, it is easier for people to play on your own emotional weakness. For example, if you are religious, okay, they will make you want to ignore the failure that they are so proud of when those who were in charge or once in charge of your own affair, who failed to provide the real infrastructure, sustainable infrastructures that could serve millions, including them, only to run away to go and enjoy that same facility elsewhere. But back in Nigeria, where your own emotional, religious, and all that stuff are running riots, they can easily play on that and say, listen, anyone can go to anywhere to go and get medical care. You know that is a lie. Not everyone can go to anywhere and get medical care. You know it, okay? Then they will tell you that the best you can do is to pray to God to give them better health and long life so that they can come back to Nigeria and do the right thing. Now, that is playing on your own emotional, emotional weakness or religious weakness. That if you begin to condemn the fact that these people are so shameless, right? That when they lock up your schools, they will come on social media to share the graduation picture of their children graduating from university schools that are opened abroad, okay? When they lock your hospitals and lack of medical personnel, underfunded, poorly paid, in most places, non-existent at all, right? Then they would expect you to thank God, throw up a party for a Thanksgiving because they just returned back from a successful medical surgery from abroad. Do you get that? Now, at that point, every common sense will be put aside, and the emotional nonsense will take charge. So that is why, you see, when you see characters like that, and then you see people who say, no. There's so many baggages. But look at this. 23 years of democracy in Nigeria. 7 years of Boko Haram dying and coming back to life in the hands of the British doctors. Some of them Nigerians too, who left Nigeria. None of them still felt like they should, whatever they experienced here, because they have the chance, the capacity to do that for you in Nigeria. Now, I've told you, okay, when somebody says, whether you like it or not, Tifnumbu is going to be our next president. Story, listen to me very well. There are different categories of people, okay, who indeed are part of this big pond of degenerates who believe that doing same thing again and again, then expecting a different result is actually something wise, so to say. And in that bracket, yeah, here is the point. In 23 years, while they destroyed Nigeria and built empire for themselves outside Nigeria, a kind of a safety net, some of us who have the chance, who have had who have a chance of living outside Nigeria, experiencing what life truly should be like for those who genuinely, legitimately are working hard to make themselves better, like many of you watching me right now. Yeah. So we experience life in a way that made many of us to question the life that these guys built for you in Nigeria. Is it about infrastructure, road infrastructure? Is it about, enabling environment that is conducive enough for you to exploit and excel, opportunities that abound, not having to factor in who you are or who you are related with? Is it the standard healthcare system that is well and clear enough for you to know where you can get help, even if you're not from there? Or the kind of, citizenship, sort of a respect that they get from the politicians that understands that this is a job that once they actually, messed up with it, they would have to go. Responsibility. Now, many of us kind of feel like all these things, they don't require a sort of a special prayer, special group, special committee, special this or special that. So we started questioning the characters like Tifnumbu and the rest of them who have been in your space for 23 years. Healthcare, zero. Education, dead. Infrastructure, dead. And yet, these guys spend, and their family, they spend virtually half of their lives outside Nigeria, touching and feeling what life could be. But the moment they get back to Nigeria, then it becomes something else. So for people who have been in that other world, when we see the hypocrisy of the likes of Bokwari and your politicians, it kind of saddens genuine people. But when you see those who are living outside Nigeria and they are hailing and promoting these criminals who never mean any well, not for you, not for anyone, and sadly, not even for themselves. When you see people who live outside Nigeria who hails them, it is because these are the few who somehow, if they never left Nigeria, they will be exactly what your politicians are to you if they have that same opportunity. Then it is the same world. Whatever is wrong with Tifnumbu, listen to me. You can say, somehow you are paying for that, but he is also paying as well, because their selfishness, their self-centeredness, is not, the consequences of that is not limited to some of you who are their praise singers. Watching them deplete your future, deplete everything that could at least make you experience life as a human being, not like as the dredge of the society that they personally believe is the source of their power that will keep every one of us in this contraption for long. The consequences is not limited to you. Look at them. 23 years in their own selfishness. 23 years. Lagos State, as an example, the mega slum of Lagos State, couldn't build a standard health center that could at least earn the trust of your own politicians who probably should have built them. And in 23 years of this madness, you are gearing up and you are warming up and you are believing these rogues again, that they probably have something to offer when you know they don't. Some are saying that maybe Tifnumbu, the Shetima and gang, they are waiting for Tifnumbu to buy. Let me tell you something. That kind of mindset can only somehow be entertained or have a place in the mind of a typical Nigerian. Okay. Now such can flash your mind, but it shouldn't be something you really entertain and be like, no. There were those who believed that if Bokwari would die and Pastor Ruga would become president, and because of that, every vice, every negative thing they knew about Bokwari that were so facts, recent history of his, they decided to ignore them. Because according to them, at least if Bokwari, it will be the turn of Yoruba. It's not because they love Nigeria. Do you know that? So now, for those of you who are now here witnessing what today is, Bokwari is still there, Abi. And if you think that Tifnumbu will buy, in my own research, usually cold-hearted people, wicked people, even if they on top wheelchair, they know they die easily like that. And in your case in Nigeria, let me tell you something, that any of your roguish politician or the ones you dread and all that dies is not an example or is not an assurance to an end to your suffering, to the oppression that you are experiencing. In fact, there are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of the likes of Tifnumbu, the likes of Atiku, and the likes of Bokwari in young and old formats who are ready to do worse than whatever you think Bokwari is doing. So wishing them death and all that is not a sort of a prayer that is going to guarantee you any kind of succor. Do you get that? So Tifnumbu is here for medical care, and also he is here to finalize and make a final deal to Werewike. Werewike himself, who is a sort of a wounded dog. You know his own story, you know his own history as well. Werewike is here for his own political survivor. From what we have been told, do you want to hear me? Now, this one may sound like sort of a rumor. It's probably not always, not always rumors. And in some rumors that you probably would hear, right, I would say there are some iota of truth in them. They said that for the Peter Obi and his supporters, so for Atifku's camp believe that they will be treated just same way Bokwari treated and SARS. You can make do with that information whatever you like, okay? But for Werewike, to them, he has shot himself on the foot with his tantrums and all his maneuvering, anti-party, they call it. And in fact, he is considered as an enemy of the North. Now, in their plots, in the next few months, right, Werewike would have no kind of, immunity or any kind of protection that will make him blab the way he's currently blabbing, especially with the load of corruption that is also waiting or hanging on him. This is Atiku. So which means they have a plan that the moment Atiku become president, Werewike should automatically just find a way and go to exile. Or else, well, you can ask those who have felt the pang of Bokwari simply because of their relationship and their roles during the Jolantan's onslaught at the time. So Werewike needs protection. Majority of them needs protection. Autumn from Benue needs protection too. For now, you know, Autumn of Benue is the only state governor in Nigeria that currently has a fatwa on his head, on his neck, right? Hanging on his neck. Yes, he has been declared wanted, dead or alive, after his tenure as governor of Benue in 2023 by the Miyetti Fulani cow herders of Nigeria. I don't know if you remember that, where they've declared him wanted. So Autumn himself is looking for protection. And from the internal conversation, right, Autumn believed that whatever you are witnessing right now about the Fulani terrorism and the rest, under Bokwari with Atiku, unago they say, Ashe Bokwari is even better. Just same way many of you are currently remembering that Abacha seems to be better than what Bokwari is putting you through. So to the likes of Autumn, they kind of have that that reservation about Atiku and you know, the jihadists, the fanatics who have gained access into the system as well. So Autumn is also looking for protection, like running from fire or from frying pan to fire. Political survivor, they call it. So the two of them are in London from Friday, okay? Probably expecting Tifnubu to join them. Now they are going to meet on a new agreement. Now that it's completely closed, that Atiku and Werewike have parted ways just a while back as well. So whatever the offer will be, nobody has a clue until when Dino, that he was, they were asking Dino Melai just recently, they were asking him too about Atiku's plan. In one of his, blabbing and all that, right? I want to say, listen to this. That's from
Yes, are you Dino narrowing the opposition strictly to the APC and ignoring the movement that the obedience seem to be bringing on board? If you saw what happened.
No, I think we should take it one after the other. The first one was this statement on Atiku's national spread, according to Dino, right?
Yes, are you narrowing the opposition strictly to the APC? Yes, are you narrowing the opposition strictly to the APC and ignoring the movement that the obedience seem to be bringing on board? If you saw what happened in Abuja a couple of days ago, that's beyond 4 people tweeting in the room. It looks to me like, there are now 7 people, and that 7 might be the number, the magic number, that Nigerians are waiting for.
My brother, there are 2 sets of people running this election. Okay. Just like if you go to court, they said federal government against federal government versus Dino Melai and others. So in this particular case, you have Atiku and others. That's APC, Labour, NNPP, all of them are others in this regard. And I want to tell you that to assemble crowd is just for you to bring out money. Mobilization is very, very cheap in this country. People are hungry. If you go to Yanya, you go to Mararaba, people have been loaded in buses from Lugbe, from every part of this country to come and stand and say they are supporting. But let it come to the election. I think Peter Obi was in Osun and he spoke in Osun, and we saw the result of a Labour Party in Osun. Labour Party had 2,700 votes, where PDP was counting 400 and something thousand. It is not about commercial mobilization of people. People are hungry. Definitely, if you go to Mararaba today, you say you need 5,000 people. With the blow of a whistle, they will assemble. And they will collect their 1,000 or 2,000 naira. That is what is happening. But we are not, it is not the march on the streets that will determine the votes. We are talking of proper votes, and Nigerians know that Atiku is speaking to the issues. We are not on a hype movement. We are not on a impression agenda setting. No. We are practical, we are real, we are interacting with the voters who will come and vote. I know a number of people who went for the Abuja rally who are saying that we have to go and collect our own. So, I mean, that is not what I'm talking about. So when I talk about APC, I talk about APC and others, all of them put together. Nigerians are wiser. Nigerians now know the truth. Nigerians know who will rescue.
Obedience. They say Nigeria, you know, politicians, like I said, that is where they put you. That's how they call that kind of talk, you know, they talk in a condescending way. It's called talking down, like, you know, people are poor. If we need 5,000 people, we just go there, go to Maraba Market, and you call them and say, yeah, come and do rally. It is true that the people have been made poorer. And 1,000 naira, 500 naira, you will also gather people. We have seen APC, Egbe, under Bukwari, they have done that many times in that same Abuja. People are poor, of course. But according to him, that's not enough. And if you see any crowd behind the OB and all that, I mean, they are just hired. I know some of you never loved that. I mean, you have been so raging since you heard that. Again, there's a part where, you know, Dino, representing Atiku, said,
put together. Nigerians are wiser. Nigerians now know the truth. Nigerians know who will rescue them. Nigerians know who will deliver for them. And Nigerians know that no regional champion has ever become the president of this country. No regional champion has become the, you know, Awolowo was a fantastic leader with every sense of humility and order, very refined man. But because he was playing regional card, he never became the president of this country. Azikiwe played regional card, he never became the president of this country. Buhari himself, on 3 attempts as a regional champion, did not make the presidency. It was when he now went on the national platform, called Saraki, called Atiku, called Tinubu, and everybody put together. He ran on the national platform before he became the president of this country. So I want to tell you that we're not distracted by that imaginary position. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Dino, thank you so much for your time. But a quick fact check, Nnamdi Azikiwe was president of Nigeria, actually. So just a quick fact check. All right, thank you so much for your time. We'll take a short break.
I said when he ran subsequently in the Second Nigeria Republic.
Nobody was the first president of Nigeria. Azikiwe was the first president of Nigeria.
Was he elected on the national platform as president? He was a ceremonial president.
All right, we'll take a short break now. When we return.
So that's the part people were talking about as well. But you see, if you ask me why was that clip, I'm just trying to share with you the type of violence that you are to get yourselves prepared for as different clowns will begin to make mouth, even though their real life reality would never reflect whatever they are going to be saying to you. These clowns are going to be on your TV. These fraudsters, scammers, liars, they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be talking. But when you look at them, they would, I mean, I don't know, maybe in Nigeria where you worship them all. For sensible people, they are more like clowns, criminals, like bunch of criminals who can be anything, anytime, just to get whatever they want. That's why I started with that of Tifnumbu. Many of you know that Tifnumbu is not well. Okay, you know it. But millions of you would want him. It doesn't matter because to you, Almighty Allah, Almighty God is the knowest. Is the one who knows when we are going to die, this or that. Is the one who knows who is going, blah, 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 blah. If anybody want to grow old, anybody can be, and all those things you tell yourselves. And all the trauma you're going to put to yourselves. But the fact is, you know that Tifnumbu is not well. You know it. That one is a fact. Okay? If you know what is wrong with him, maybe somehow some of you will feel like maybe he should go and take care of himself. But it doesn't matter. He's here in the UK. they are looking after him. Okay. Once they pump him up, once they do all they have to do around him, to take their money and all of that, they put him back in his private jets, and they're flying back to you. All of you, who they say anybody can go and get healthcare anywhere. Can you come to London and get healthcare? You, Mr. Akunle, Egbon, can you, if you have any medical emergency, can you come to London and come and use NHS quickly and go back to Nigeria? Can you? You know that is not true, Abi? Okay. Anyway, that is that. So they will bring him back to you. And you will then begin to say, thank God, thank God. Then he will come back to come and promise you better health care for your children, for old people, for young people, and you will believe him. Atiku live in Dubai. He get his medical care in Dubai. He probably would have loved to go to America to go and get his medical care too. But Atiku will come to London. He will go to Dubai as well to get his medical. He lived there. Well, he's going to come to Nigeria to come and tell you how he's going to build you medical care, this or that, and all. And you're going to believe him. And there are many clowns like that. Clowns like Dino Melaye. He's articulate, he's sagacious, he's competent, and you will believe them. So when they now take that chance, and everybody goes back to the trenches, you begin to wonder, hey God, which kind of people be this again? God, come and save us from them. Oh God, please, God, I beg you, and the rest of that. So my point here is that it is Nigeria, okay? And it is only Nigeria that could allow them to do this again and again. You are just pawn on their chess table, okay? And being pawn on their chess table leaves you with no choice except the choices that they put before you. Somehow, you can be a rebel and just say no. I mean, just say no to the lies and see how that feels. How you can be far away from that catch-22 that many of you have found yourselves. So you don't get blackmailed emotionally because of this kind of characters. And it is only Nigeria that allowed them. Trust me. If all of us are in our own spaces, doing our own things, running our own affairs, defining our own rules and policies, and on like that, we could indeed easily hand the characters like this, donning our own social space and making decisions for us, so to say. So I think you should think about that if you have any thing in their mind. So yeah. Now let's see other parts. I was doing my JJJ strolling about as usual, and then I came about a page where people were having meltdown. Kilo today, what is going on? Why the fight here and again? They said that because some people released a poll again. I'm going to share that with you, and I'm going to sort of see what you feel as well. Now, this was right. This was I think about a few hours ago, but it is this. So they said that if they do their electoral charade today, as those who are angry, raging, and they are planning to take back their own pound of flesh from a system that has kept them under the generational backwardness and poverty and all that, right? This is what will happen. Now, look at your screen, right? Where's my own screen? Let me get my own on. Don't be everybody care, sure you get. But this is causing a big meltdown. They said that Obi, they said they were calling those who have registered this particular body, yeah? They said they were asking them, what would be your preference if they have to say, maybe you go choose one of these people today, and they 51% of them said they will go for Obi. That's why I told you that, you know, one thing, right? Whether na Atiku, whether na Tifnumbu, whether na Obi, whether na any of these guys, as long as one Nigeria exists, right? Whatever happens, all of us are going to share in the consequences of this. And that is why we must continue to raise the awareness to let them know that, yeah, they might currently be in the dragnet of what the system, kind of conditioned them to be. However, any one of them, like Bokwari, that eventually, get in charge of a Nigeria, now all of us go pay. So it better may you jump out now. It better when we have the chance, may we jump out now. I mean, I wish we have the majority who could actually push that right away. Anyway, so they said they were calling people. And they said that it's going to be this way. No be me do amo, not them do amo. Now, I started seeing people melting down. They started melting down on social media. All this nonsense, rubbish. You this man, it's not be me. I know many of you blame me for many things in your lives. Okay, especially those of you who are like the Buhari idiots, the cyber barbarians, and then a PDP, and most of you one Nigerianist anyway. You blame me, unfortunately, for many things that is wrong in your lives. Is this Mayegun that is causing problem in Nigeria? Now it's people like this Mayegun that is creating problem in Nigeria. So, okay, so fine. No be me do that one. No be me said that your polo. I don't even have any contact of any of your whatever, but it's out there. But you are catching emotion. You are throwing tantrum. You are feeling so bad. You are feeling somehow, as if to say you actually have real say. In who becomes what and when. Let's break it down. We'll break it down. Normal. For those who are in the know of how your politics works, you and I, we know that it is buying and selling sort of a experiment. Sabi? Don't lie, yo. Don't pretend be a lori bruku kombi. Shall you hear me now? You know it's a buying and selling. Who can give more and what are they giving? Normal. This is how many of you position yourselves for who is going to give what and when. And then we decide where you want to swing to or not. That is the tradition, Abi. Whether na PDP, whether na APC, whether na PPM, whether na Origin, or whatever you are. That is the tradition. So don't try to pretend like, we don't know that's the real thing, right? Now, whoever pays more, usually, will have the way. Even some of you will say, with the level of money that Adebutu's son is spending, it's going to, you know what I mean? You always kind of get to know who spends more. So in that regard, it is about what they will give to you or what you are going to get from it. It is not really about who is going to do what or not. In fact, some of you naturally believe that you don't expect them to do anything. That's why when they construct kilometers of road, no drainage system, and all of that stuff, right? You go and get Ankara, start dancing. Hey, Adukwe, for the past 32 years, we have been begging them to come and fix this road. Thank God, though, Arishekola has fixed the road. Governor Arishekola. You are so surprised. You are so happy. They say, let us thank them. I say, but the road no get street light. We thank them that they still do this one. We don't need street light. We'll do that one later. You are surprised. You are so grateful because they have denied you the good things of life for so long that when they finally say take, it is always like, man, we should just thank God that they remember us and all that. So you know that. But you also know that it is beyond what they give you. Those they will give rice, those they will give this or that. Okay, it's beyond that. There are many of you who are recruited. Your own job is to help ensure the manipulation of the entire process, and they pay you stipend. And after all of that, beyond you, there are another layer of those who are going to fix every madaru that you all orchestrate and then you are part of. Until they finally say, hey, finally, that is your governor. Hey! Then everybody go back to their hard lives. And you do the same thing again and again and again. So there is no point in you losing your mind. If somebody wake up tomorrow and say, who is going to win 2023 election? It's going to be Tinubu. You go there, lose your mind. Hey, God punish you. God, you are all wasting your time. Do you want to hear the truth? The truth is that, save for all of you who have different vision of what you think Nigeria should be like, when it comes to the set of all these characters posing as your saviors and rescuers, right? It is one agenda. And that agenda is called One Nigeria. And you know, if they ask us that in the next few days, Nigeria will be 62 years, they used to call her giant of Africa. Now, Nigeria has become the giant burden of Africa. Today, 62 years, one Nigeria. That is what you're going to get for another 62 years. Because if you understand the word one Nigeria, the coinage of it, without the consent of everyone that is dragged into it, yeah, then you understand why whatever those clowns tells you now, if you are smart enough and you value your own mental health, you will never lose your mind. So if they like, may then say Atiku will, the other day then say Atiku go win. Tomorrow the fit tell you say Atiku go win. But that's how you are going to be going through that back and forth. But there's something that can save us from all of this. And that is break it up to save lives. Peter Obi is one of the candidates who says something about that. The first candidate of theirs who says something similar to what I just said now was Omoyele Sowore, the one that they probably have told you, is your enemy, as some of you have chosen. Omoyele Sowore said, Mayegun, I agree with you that you see the way Nigeria is, it will never work. But there is also something that I want you to remember, to know always, Mayegun, and that is with the characters who have been part of this system and who are still part of the system that brought many of us to this stage, a stage of telling ourselves the truth, that if we really care about progress, peace, unity, and development, right, everyone should go their separate ways. When we say that, it simply means you can make decisions and act on them in your own part of Nigeria, yes, without any other part having to be part of those who decide on that under this unitary fraudulent system of government. Sowore said, I agree. But do you know why they will continue to get support and then funding to wage war against any part of Nigeria that wants to go away? It's simply because the characters that should normally make the reasons understandable to the people they represent, the values, the tradition, the culture, the identities of those they represent in Project Nigeria. Are you with me? Those who are part of that Project Nigeria, that should explain the reasons why Yorubas will do better, Igbos will do better, Hausas and Fulanis will do better, and in every part they found themselves that they legitimately own as theirs, so to say. If they are not part of this entire forced contraption, But the Yorubas that is part of Nigeria, the Igbos that are part of Nigeria, the Hausa, Fulani, and other ethnic, 200 ethnic nationalities that are part of Nigeria, and their representatives, they are more interested in what they are going to get for themselves than what their people truly deserves. So Sowore came here and he said, Mayegun, I agree that for progress to come, then definitely every region